Hey there, welcome to Gals Get Real, where real women, real stories, and real talk come together. I'm Meghan.
I'm Kristin. Between us, we have 9 adult children with 6 daughters. Let's open up the conversations we never had with our moms and flip the script with the kind of connections we want with each other and our daughters.
We're here to laugh, cry, and dive into all the things, from everyday shifts to the curveballs and life pivots, and the messy, magical moments that make us who we are. Hello, girly girls. We are so excited to have you on the podcast. So 2 of our daughters are here today, and I'm going to let them introduce themselves.
Hi, my name's Olivia. I'm Meghan's youngest daughter, and I'm the youngest of 5.
And I'm
Olivia.
Chloe. I'm the youngest of 4. I'm Kristin's daughter with 1 older brother and 2 older sisters.
Welcome, welcome.
Welcome. And Olivia, what's your family dynamic in terms of boys and girls?
I have 2 older sisters and 2 older brothers.
Okay.
We got babies of a big crew here.
Yes, you're both from big families. So,
And Meghan, I think it's so interesting because we are the oldest in our families.
yes.
So be really curious to see the differences in age order and also just over the generations, see if there's some
Yes.
similarities.
Definitely. So the concept of this podcast is just kind of you guys talking about what it was like being the youngest child as your older siblings grew up, they moved on. How did the dynamics shift? Do you remember when you actually realized that you were the last man standing? There was nobody else in the house?
I actually do have a very vivid memory of realizing I was the youngest. And that was when I was younger in my childhood home. I would be the first one to get sent up to bed, and I would just sit at the top of the stairs listening to everyone laughing. And I remember one time I got super upset because the thought just came into my head of when everyone would leave the house and I would be the only child, and I just got a feeling of loneliness all of a sudden.
Yeah, it's like, where's the laughter?
Yeah.
Right. It's like the chaos is just sort of gone when you're home alone.
Yeah, no, that's really interesting. That's funny because I did the same thing. Like, I'd be sent up to bed and I'd like sneak down and try to pretend like I was in with them with the older kids. But I was definitely super jealous. I didn't really have that idea cross my mind really because I guess I was in 3rd and 4th grade when my sisters left. And I think it was after they both left that I was only left with my brothers. I love them, but it changes the dynamic. They would not sit for dinner that long. They would go upstairs, like play video games, stuff like that. And then I started becoming, I guess, more alone. And I was like, oh.
Were you like, I got to hang out with my parents because... Yeah, no, that makes sense because the boys are a little bit different than the girls. The girls would sort of sit around the table and chat for a little bit longer. And did you really appreciate sort of having more of your parents' attention?
I know Chloe's answer to this one.
Yeah. For me, I definitely noticed a lot more attention went to me because in high school, I was living with my dad and my brother, and I could just beat around the bush and do whatever I wanted and go out and hang out with friends. But then as soon as my brother left the house, the attention was definitely on me. And then my dad was just noticing every little thing I did, and I definitely started to get in trouble more. So I definitely felt the attention completely
And
on
you
me.
like it or not really?
I mean, I liked the freedom when it wasn't all on me, but obviously some attention is nice occasionally.
How about you, Liv?
I feel like I had a weird, I don't know, like a unique situation in the sense that I always like loved hanging out with older people. I think it was because I was the youngest and I would just tag along with my mom all the time. So I'd like sit with all her girlfriends and chat, like even when I was super young. And so I feel like
You were so
when...
good at that, by the way. You were always very friendly from a young age. Yeah.
Well, I kind of just liked being there and being involved, like no matter who it was, I guess.
So that was a good answer. You just like being with older people, and then you can just add on anything you want to add on.
I definitely missed my siblings so much when they left. But I think I filled that gap with just getting a lot closer to my parents, which was super fun. Like my senior year, I'd say I'd literally sit at dinner for like 2 hours. Even if I had work, it was not good. But I just enjoyed it a lot. And I think I wasn't really lonely in that sense. But I think every time my siblings would come home for vacation, I would like remember how fun it was to have a full house. And so like those like week after, I'd kind of be like, oh, I miss them. And then I feel like you just keep going. And yeah.
Right. You
Yeah.
kind
hang
of
out with my
adjust.
friends more and stuff. I feel like I never really got in trouble like that much for things. It was my older siblings who really got more in trouble.
It must have been so fun though when they came back home and like
It
you're the
was.
youngest and you're still living in that hometown life and then
Yeah.
you're learning from them. Did you guys get a lot hearing from their stories from college? Do you feel like they were open about it? Did they hide stuff? Like, were they able to talk to you about what was going on for them?
Well, for me, I know like Carrie being 8 years older, she didn't tell me much when she was in college because I was too young to know anything. But Caitlin, she definitely told me a lot. And then when I got to college, I had just a private story on Snapchat or like a Finsta, and I let Caitlin follow it. But some of the stuff I was posting, I didn't know if I wanted Carrie seeing it. And then Carrie called me one time and she was like, Chloe, please accept me to your Finsta. And I was like, I don't know, Carrie. And she was like, Chloe, do I need to show you mine from college? And I was like, yeah, that might be good. So then she showed me her Finsta. And then after seeing how she was in college, then I was like, oh, we're actually the same. But I just didn't know that because I didn't know what she was up to when she was in college.
Yeah, that's great. That's a great example.
No, there's a
Liv,
very like
yeah.
dynamic in the sense where like when obviously I'm in elementary school, Belle and Mads are in high school, like you feel so different. But as you get older, it's really cool to see how that like 7 or 8 years, whatever, doesn't actually matter. And like
Yeah.
I feel like that's been super special. Like throughout high school, I feel like I became because I did have that like when I was starting to kind of realize how close Isabella and Madeline were and how they like did everything together because they were only 1 year apart. So they like did everything in high school together. They would visit each other in college. And so I would get jealous at some point and I would be like, oh, like I wish I could do that too. But I knew I couldn't because like I just wasn't at that age or level like doing that stuff yet. So that's
Right.
been super fun because like now being older, I feel kind of at similar, I guess, points of life as them. And that's been cool.
That's been
Like,
so cool. And sorry, go ahead, Chloe.
oh, I was just going to say that I agree. And it's funny when everyone comes home for holidays and you're all together and it's all chaotic and everything. I feel like you find out everything they were like hiding from you. And like then you just grow so much closer. So
Mhm.
I agree. It is very funny to see how it
And if
changes.
your parents are lucky, we can eavesdrop on the conversations.
Yeah, it's from time to time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like carpool when they were young.
You're right,
We
like
used to get all the
carpool.
scoop, and then all of a sudden, everybody gets a little quieter as they age. I'm like,
Yeah, I completely agree with that. I was actually at work the other day and one of my coworkers came up to me and we had been talking about childhood stories and like one of the days we worked earlier. And he was like, so you're closest with your brother, right? And I was like, honestly, it's a hard answer because my brother and I spent every second together growing up. So like I always did feel closer with him because everyone thought we were twins because we were always together. But then like growing up and like now that the age doesn't really matter between my sisters, I feel like we're all extremely close and it's like in different ways that it makes it such a hard question to answer.
Yeah.
So kudos to you, Mom, for letting their personality shine.
oh, that's
Yeah,
so
and it's so
sweet.
fun seeing that coming together, isn't it? Like when all their personalities met, everybody's having fun, you like holidays and just
Oh my gosh, nothing
laughing.
better.
And some of it is back to the old days of beating each other up on the floor, rolling around, tossing around, whatever, the jokes, right? And then some of it is just really mature conversations and good, solid advice. And it's just fun as a parent, as a mom to see.
Oh, it's amazing. I think that's definitely one of the biggest joys, right?
You're both in college. One is a rising junior and the other a rising sophomore. And obviously, there's so much new that you experienced in college. I mean, we can rattle off many examples of relationships and friendships, and maybe even perhaps juggling finances, certainly juggling your schedules. Do you feel like you share a lot of that still with your moms in particular and your parents? Or do you feel like your older sibs really are a force of nature in that way?
For me, I think I was super close with my mom and my parents going into college. And I think for me, I was super homesick freshman fall, well, kind of all of freshman year. And it kind of made me upset to talk to my parents. So I didn't really, I guess, reach out as much as I should have in some sense. Like they were probably kind of sad not to hear from me as much. But in that, I found that reaching out to my siblings was super helpful. And they had obviously gone through it more recently. And so I think for me, they were more of an outlet freshman year. And then when I kind of got my grounding and, like made my friends and got my schedule and everything, I feel like this year I reached out more, of course, to my parents. Like, we talk a lot, but like, I feel like my siblings were more of that beginning aspect.
My oldest sister, she wrote a lot of letters for me to open at certain times. One was like, open when you're stressed out about money, and definitely opened that one eventually. And then some of them were just open when you need help with roommate troubles. And there were a lot of other ones that were very helpful. Some I still haven't opened because I have 3 more years to do that. But Mom, I definitely think I called you a good amount freshman year, except I also feel that with the divorce and living with my dad for a while, I have already grown independent enough where I didn't need to be calling you every single day. And surprisingly, I didn't even get homesick until about 8 weeks in. And then immediately I flew home and I was like, I need to just go home for the weekend. And I saw you and Dad, which was super nice. But I think I was definitely trying to do a lot on my own and tried to figure things out. But I definitely had to call you at points.
Well, and that's also a generational difference, isn't it? Do you remember? I mean, we had to go to the hallway, the dorm hallway phone, and wait for our parents' call.
Oh my God.
And everybody seemed to collect on a Sunday because that just seemed to be call your parents.
And then there was like
day.
the long line. And my parents actually, I lived in London in high school. So I had to deal with the time difference. I mean, I barely spoke to my parents looking back, you know,
crazy.
half the time. It's crazy.
It's so crazy.
I mean, the amount I text you and talk to you
right.
and all of your
and the
other siblings.
FaceTime. Thank goodness for like FaceTime, because I feel like even without visiting you guys in your various states,
I
got to know Chloe's friends because we constantly be for better or for worse. Maybe I shouldn't have seen everything I saw on FaceTime. I'm pretty sure of that, but it was super connected.
Yeah. Oh,
No,
sorry, you go, Olivia.
No, I was just going to say, like, yeah, that's pretty crazy because I can't imagine even when I maybe don't talk on the phone with my mom every day, she still texts me every morning, good morning, with a GIF or a Bitmoji or something. And like, it still like makes me smile. Like, that just sounds crazy to really not communicate even like once a week or something. I was super lucky because I play sports, so I have games and my parents are like able to come to all my games. So I would see them twice a week every fall, which is...
Is that why you never responded to a lot of my texts? Or is it
because I was like, I can see her in chat with her on Friday.
Right. Oh my gosh, that's so
She's
lucky.
notorious for not responding
That's
to
so
texts.
fortunate. And I have a feeling, again, back in yesteryear, parents just they didn't get as involved in a lot of ways.
They weren't involved. And I don't think, I mean, obviously my parents lived in London, but even if they lived local, it's such a treat for Mike and I to go to all of her games because we just get to see her all the time. Do you think that being the youngest gave you a thicker skin or made you more sensitive?
That depends on the day of the week.
Yeah, honestly, Mom, you're so right. It does depend. For me, growing up, I mean, Caitlin and I still joke about it to this day. I think we were talking about it literally last week. Being the youngest, I would get teamed up on and bullied, and especially the 2 middle kids. But then it got to the point where I was getting put in timeout and I was getting sent to this scary chair. So I think that ended up giving me a little bit of tougher skin. But I also think that I tend to just hide my emotions a little bit more because growing up, I feel like the youngest kind of gets overlooked and like what we have to say doesn't really matter.
Oh, well, you always mattered, even though maybe you got the shaft every once in a while. No, but I think it's true. Like, I feel like Olivia was always grabbing onto my leg and wanted to go everywhere.
Because I would just do everything but everything that I would go to would be for the siblings.
That's right. A lot of time in the car. A lot of time on field.
To go to Henry's games or to go to like Mads' piano recital or something.
Yeah, that is so true. We were always dragged along everywhere.
Yeah, exactly. And it's so funny because there are some things that I definitely didn't get attention for. Like, Dad always says like he used to read with Mads and like you used to read with Belle. And then I was like, no one ever read with me. Like, my reading level was like really low to start with. And, like, random stuff like that.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I think you do run out of gas a little bit with the last one because we were so busy just schlepping you around everywhere with the older kids.
But then I feel like you make up for it like once all the older kids are old and then it's like you.
Yeah.
Right.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Well, do you remember being bullied or anything, or like giving you a hard time?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I feel like being the youngest, that's inevitable. Like, it's kind of funny. I sit So every night when we sit down for dinner and there's the 7 of us, we have our seats that we just always sit in. And it's so funny because I'm the head of the table. And then it's like me and then my mom and dad are both next to me. And then it's the siblings. And it's so funny because that just started because my brother would just be so annoying every single dinner. Like he would just be poking me and like just trying to do anything to make me mad. So I guess my mom had to sit in between us to separate us. They were like, yeah, exactly. And I was always like I would let it get to me. And it was funny because I would talk to my mom about that and she would be like, yeah, I'm pretty sensitive too. Like I let things get to me.
Yes,
So
and they love attacking the people that react. If we had just like not been sensitive and not reacted, the boys would have stopped.
Yeah, and that's what like my older sister would be like, just don't react. And I would be like, okay. And then I would start like crying. So I don't really have that thick of skin right now. I feel like I never really got that, but I feel like when they're annoying to me, I'm just like, oh, they're trying to be annoying. Like I understood what they're doing, that it's not like actually deep or personal. It's just funny.
It's just they're annoying. Yeah.
I had like
and they wonder why you guys were like attached to your moms. Well, to get away from the older siblings, right?
Yeah, I had the same exact experience in the cars. Ryan would always be poking me, so we couldn't sit next to each other.
Yeah.
Or just like, and then Caitlin would always be like, Chloe, he's just trying to annoy you. He's just getting a reaction. Like, just let it be. But then I would just get so frustrated, start crying every time.
Yeah.
Well, was it helpful getting that advice from a sibling, like let it go versus a parent? Because you probably don't hear half the things a parent says along those lines, right?
Yeah, I mean, what they're saying is true, but it's also hard to understand. And it doesn't matter in the moment that they're just doing it to annoy you because it's working.
Exactly. Well, it is annoying me.
And the cycle just continues. I want to throw out an example of advantages and disadvantages to being the baby. Chloe just recently said to me, oh my gosh, Carrie, 8 years older, got 8 more Christmases than I will have. Like, I just won't have all of those years of extra Santa gifts and extra stocking gifts and what have you. And I said, okay, well, hopefully that's
really mature. That's a good point.
I think it's true.
But on the flip side, when she was your age, she also didn't go on a trip to Europe and she also didn't go and have this opportunity. So
yeah, but I also think there was like, you guys went on little girls' trips without me because I was so young. So I just had to watch it through pictures and Instagram and everything. And like, she is still getting the benefits that I'm getting that I think when I'm her age, because everyone's really grown up then, I'm not going to be getting that.
Right, because people will get engaged and married potentially.
Kind of, I do think about that too. This is like really me jumping ahead, but I'm thinking about this is kind of a dark thought. I was thinking about it and I was like, it's unfortunate because by the time I have kids, like when Matt has kids, you two are going to be such young grandparents. And then by the time I have kids, you're going to be like, I don't know, like older and maybe more chill, less capable. And I think that's kind of annoying.
Yeah, I agree with that.
No, I like that.
Very honest.
It's very honest, and I love that you were honest. And I'm going to tell you right now, like, that we are going to do our very best to make your kids feel special. Because I know my sister feels like that.
No, but I believe that. But I'm saying, like, we used to do, like, for your parents, whole family trips. And we had, 20 years of them? And Shanti's kids only had 8?
No,
That's
exactly.
so true.
And that does really bother her because she didn't get the best of them because my mom got sick. And that's just a valid point.
Like, so inevitable. But like, that's something that I have thought of. Or just like, now that my sister's getting engaged, I'm kind of thinking, I'm like, oh, the family dynamic's going to be a little different. Like, is she not going to be able to come to Thanksgivings anymore? They're going to have to split holidays. It's weird still being young and wanting kind of those things and then having like everyone else having more separate lives, I guess.
Yeah, again, the holiday shifts.
Yeah. Yeah. And like nostalgia is like such a weird feeling. And I feel like that is just like the moment everything changes and you really think about your childhood and then it makes you miss it because now everyone's grown up. You're still there and like stuck in that time. So
yeah, no, exactly. I'm like, oh my God, she's gonna have a different last name than us. Like, that's like not okay.
So weird.
Yeah. I feel like the weddings and like that kind of thing is the most bittersweet thing.
Yeah.
I could not agree more. Sometimes there's a flip side to things, right? So like at the same time that she's going to be starting her own family, you have the chance perhaps to be like the best aunt in the world.
Having everyone or at least a few people under one roof was just never gonna, it never was gonna be again. Like they can come home, but the end of an era thing, I think is always bittersweet because you want them to go on, but at the same time, you're like, wow, that whole phase of me having kids at home is finished.
That's it. That's it. And so we just try to kind of adjust and figure ourselves out. It's hard for us moms.
Oh my gosh. Every time you guys go, it really is hard.
I mean, it's just life, not to make you feel anything but happy for yourselves and what you're facing. It's great. We're happy for
I wouldn't
you.
want it any other way.
I can definitely tell you've been thinking about it, Mom, because you keep asking me to have a sleepover every night.
And we went to Florida, but it was just the first time that my whole family was together since I had gone to college. And I remember just like we were playing like Heads Up. It's, you know that game?
Yeah.
And like my brother was getting so into it and like we were all like laughing and like just having a good time. And I kind of just remember sitting there and being like, oh, no matter kind of, because I felt super independent that semester, like being in college, like I missed my family. And I remember thinking like, oh, sorry, I'm getting a little emotional.
Yeah.
Like no matter how separate our lives are, like we'll always come back and have each other.
Yeah,
So,
I always think about that.
I have
That's a good one.
goosebumps. I think that's so true. And again, sorry, go ahead, Chloe.
So I think like every time we've been together since then has just been so fun. And like every time we're going to be together, I always am just so excited. But like no matter what, I always look forward to it.
And we always say like, she's not the sister you want, but she's the sister you need.
I love that. That's the quote of the day.
Exactly. Like trying to see if I was going to play this coming semester, like if I was going to start on my team and like different things that I was facing that I felt like I was kind of failing at. And I really had this, I kind of had like a breakdown and I was like crying. And I remember calling Harrison and being like, I'm so embarrassed right now. Like I am really emotional. And like him talking me through it. And he was telling me all the things that he like failed at in college and how like no one is perfect. Like everyone goes through their stuff. And I kind of realized as long as everyone can get to a point where they can actually be there and help each other and care about each other and celebrate each other's achievements. And like, I feel like that's someplace that my family has gotten to, which is so special. So I learned very recently, like not to compare and just to lean on each other more so.
I love that.
That makes me so happy.
Thank you for sharing that. That was so honest.
Thank you. And I'm so glad that you guys are all so supportive of each other now. And he's not needling you and, kicking you. When you're on the floor.
Because
you guys have grown.
And I feel like there's tough love there and like different ways to deal with it. But we persevered.
You persevered, yes. I remember the time he knocked you off the bed in the middle of the night because he wanted that bed or something crazy. Okay, we have a couple fun questions. Can you remember what the actual F moment that happened to you recently?
Well, for me, it's just like, it's kind of dumb, but just, I feel like everyone on the roads, like we take driver's tests for a reason. When you're turning in a lane, if there are two lanes that are going right and you're in the inner one, then you're supposed to turn to the inner lane. And if you're on the outer one, you turn to the outer lane. A lot of people don't know that.
Both great examples because when you're coming of age and it's new, it's so exciting.
It's
and
so
then
exciting.
You realize,
And you're also with your older sibling.
Yeah.
Well,
so that's
exactly. I just
fun.
wanted to be like my older siblings who were commuting every day. And now I'm like,
That's right.
so glorified.
Okay, final question. What piece of advice would you girls give the world right now?
I think I would just tell everyone to slow down and be patient and take your time because we don't always have to be in a rush. But at the same time, live in the moment and don't just let it pass you by.
I'm taking that advice. Thank you.
I love that.
Yeah.
I think I'd say compromise in the sense that like, and I feel like this could apply to any relationship in life, but like you're not always going to get along. You're not always going to love people and that's okay. That's human nature. But I think finding a way to compromise and like appreciating what people have and their values and not trying to force them on people, but kind of just like having healthy conversations, peaceful conversations, and like really just trying to live with everyone else and be happy in your own situation.
Be happy.
Be happy. That's a big one. Be happy. Okay, thank you so much for joining us. We loved every minute. Until next time, girls.
Bye.
Ciao, ciao.
Bye.
I know there's a million podcasts out there, and a lot of them are really, really good. But we are hoping you listen to ours and you tell your sisters, your daughters, your nieces, your friends, any special woman in your life to take a listen to.
So subscribe here, please share, and be sure to follow us on Instagram at Gals Get Real.
We know that there are literally a million podcasts out there, and so many of them are so, so good. We'd love for you to tell your friends, daughters, and all the women in your life to tune in, get real, and share all the things.
Yes, share your stories with us by DMing and following us on Instagram at Gals Get Real Pod. And please subscribe, like, and share wherever you get your podcasts.
Until next time, lots of love.
This podcast is part of the Sound Advice FM network. Sound Advice FM, women's voices amplified.